Hey everybody, this is Dr. Ben Pearl with FitFoot U, and today I have Tomasz Drybala. He's going to tell us about an amazing running journey that he's on well, I'm not going to steal his thunder. First of all, welcome and tell us a little bit about your notion. What have you been doing to, start this amazing journey?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me today. I'm a runner for about 18, 20 years now, but for the first 16 years, I was actually running maybe maximum twice a week, half an hour a day, just to clear my mind after work. But 6 years ago, in 2016, I go through the difficult time in my life. I lost my business. I got divorced. I wasn't living with my two sons any longer. And I was in a pretty bad mental state. And, instead of um, going out with the colleagues, drinking, etc., I just decided to focus more on my mental health, and I started running much more intensively. So in 2016, actually January 2016, I started running 4 or 5 times per week, up to 2 hours a day, started more intensively training. And then there was a guy in United Kingdom, Ross, who swam around the whole Great Britain. He spent like 158 days in a sea swimming around the island. And I decided that if that guy is doing such a crazy thing with swimming, spending nearly 200 days in the water, then I can do some big challenges. And I started pushing myself, training more. In 2018, I increased my trainings to about 4 or 5 hours a day, 5 or 6 times per week. And actually in 2019, in April 2019, so 3 years after I started focusing on running, I did run my first big challenge. I made 5 million steps in 101 days. It's supposed to be 100 days, but I was late by one day. And this challenge I did on a few islands in Asia. And then I took a 3 weeks break and I started running 11,000 kilometers, 6,500 miles through Asia, from Hanoi in Vietnam to Denpasar in Bali. After I passed 5,500 kilometers to Singapore, the COVID-19 happened, and I managed to escape in last boat from Singapore and Malaysia 4 hours before the borders was shut down for lockdown. I escaped to Sumatra in Indonesia, and I supposed to run remaining 5,500 kilometers, but I got stuck because I couldn't run any longer. There was March 2020, and Indonesia was never under the full lockdown, but you cannot move even from one village to another village. So I got stuck in Sumatra, in small village next to the jungle. For 2 weeks, I couldn't move out from the room, not because of the lockdown, because the Indonesia was never in a full lockdown. You can walk on the street, do whatever you want, but you cannot move from one place to another place, from one village to another village. But it was pretty much danger. I was the only one person not Indonesian there, and people was really attacking me, thinking that I brought the COVID to those islands. And it was really danger. I couldn't move out from the hotel. The police was protecting me. And then I realized that I got stuck, we don't know for how many months, in Sumatra. So I talked with the police, I talked with the village people, and I started running again through one road, through the village and through the jungle. I divided remaining distance, 5,500 kilometers, on 268 half marathons. And I was running 2 to 5 half marathons daily. And I completed the entire challenge, running 11,000 kilometers, so nearly 7,000 miles. And then my next challenge was, I come back to London, and my next challenge was to run through 2,500 kilometers through Scotland, England, and Poland. I completed this one, and now is the big one. So now I'm in the United States. I'm running the circumference of the Earth, 25,000 miles. I started running from New York on the 30th of September, so nearly around 3 weeks ago. Now I pass a bit over 600 kilometers, so around 400 miles. I arrived to Virginia Beach, and I'm resting now. And on Saturday, I'm starting running again. So I will finish running through Virginia on Saturday, and then start running through North Carolina for about 2 weeks, and then South Carolina. I'm running now towards Florida. When I arrive to Florida just before the Christmas, I will turn towards Texas, then the whole Mexican border on the other side to San Diego, then turning up, running through Los Angeles up to Portland. And it will be middle of July next year, 2023, when I will finish running through United States. I'm running the U-shape in United States. Then I have a 1 month break, moving to Asia, and in September 2023, starting running from Hong Kong to Bali again, to Denpasar. I will run through Hong Kong, China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Sumatra, Java, and Bali. Then again, I have a month break. So through United States, I will actually run around 6,000 kilometers. Through Asia, I will run around 7,000 miles. Sorry, 6,000 miles in United States and 7,000 miles in Asia. Then when I finish running through Asia, I have again 1 month break, moving to Arabian Peninsula, to Kuwait, starting running again U-shape from Kuwait to Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Emirates, then Oman, back to Saudi Arabia, and probably the most difficult part to run through empty quarter, really high temperature, lots of sand. I will pass there about 1,000 kilometers, and then go through on the other side through the Red Sea to Egypt, and finishing in Cairo. Then I have again month break, and moving to Europe, the last part. So in Arabian Peninsula, I will run nearly 4,000 miles, moving to Europe, starting running from Athens, from Greece, through all the countries, through the Mediterranean Sea, Atlantic Ocean coast, to London, and that's the longest one, around 8,000 miles. And if everything goes according to the plan, it will be March 2026 when I will complete the entire challenge. So I'm running actually through 4 continents, 27 countries for 40 months, so around 3.5 years.
That's quite a feat. Makes me humbled. So on average, you're on the days you're running approximately how many miles per day?
So I'm running actually
on the days that you're right, because you obviously you have the 1 month. So during that, let's say 2-month cycle or whatever, however it is, yeah.
I'm running 4 times per week. So and then this is the first thing. I do this because of my previous experiences and from the previous challenges. That's the first thing. And the second thing is because of my knowledge about the flow. And that's how I divided the entire run. So I'm running Monday, Tuesday, 75 kilometers a day, so around 46 miles. But at current time, I'm at 38, 39 miles, and I'm lifting up. So in about 2 weeks' time, I will reach to 46 miles per day. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm running. Then Wednesday is my day off for recovery. Then Thursday, Friday, I'm running again 46 miles, 45, 46 miles each day. And then Saturday and Sunday is again my recovery day. And I'm going into that type of the cycle. Then every 5 weeks, I have a 1 week break. And then I'm running so this way I'm running for around a year, completing the first stage, 1 month break, starting the second stage. And I'm repeating.
You sound very organized.
Well, yeah, I did have a lot of time to organize
And you
this.
keep a journal.
Yeah, I keep the journal, I record every day. I'm actually running the research with the sports scientists from the United Kingdom. So I have to, fill a lot of form every morning, how I feel. Um,
Now, how many pairs of running shoes are you going through? Do you change them
yeah,
every 10 days or what? I'm just
no,
throwing a
I
number
change them
out.
every 600 kilometers, so nearly 400 miles. So I'm actually planning to have around 70 pairs altogether for the duration of the entire run.
Now, are you varying the shoes so that you don't feel the same sensations, for variability, or how have you decided is best for you?
At current time, I'm running with a backpack. No one is supporting me. I'm just running with a backpack. So I have a one pair of shoes with me, and I'm changing those shoes every 600 kilometers. But
If you don't mind my asking, what running shoe are you running in? Or
at current time, they are not my sponsor, I can say. At current time is ISIS, but I was usually running in Adidas. I changed it to ASIS, and it was a good choice. But when in about month time, I should have a support team, a small support team with me, car and a guy recording actually the documentary movie. And when I will have it, then I will have it 4 pairs per week. So on every day, I will use different shoes. So Monday different, Tuesday different, Thursday different, and Saturday and Friday different. And the reason for this is because the most of the time before, I was running in the same shoes all the time. And I did have a little feet injury because I was using all the time the same shoes. And because the pressure on the feet was all the time in the same place. So the physiotherapist actually recommended me, and the scientist from the university recommended to me to test 4 different pairs of shoes from 4 different companies, 4 different styles of the shoes. And then the pressure.
What are the 4 styles that you're trying out? Do you know anything about them?
I don't actually. I'm not really paying much attention.
Sure.
The names of the shoes. I mean, the companies of the Adidas, Asics, New Balance, and Nike. That's the 4 different
Four
shoes.
biggies, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't get Brooks in there, but and then Ultra's another bit. And Ultra and Hoka are different because they play a little bit more with the drop, as you know.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
My focus mainly is on mental health when I'm running. So I trust to people which supports me with equipment. I was never a professional runner. I never ran a race. I never even ran the marathon. I mean, I'm running more than marathon a day, but I never participate in race in a marathon. So I'm an amateur runner who ran really crazy distances.
Ultra distances, yeah.
Yes, but
how did the notion of this?
Yeah.
How did the notion of this connecting with a bigger cause come about, and is that something that you're trying to build as you build awareness for the journey that you're doing in terms of?
Yes, absolutely. Along the way of my running road, I have over 400 events. And 100 events out of this are the philanthropic events. So along the way of my running road, I'm building trauma-informed communities, teaching people how to use mindful movement, active meditation to remove flow blockers, create conditions for flow. I teach people how to use mindful movement to get rid of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. and unlock focus, creativity, and joy. I fundraise for UNICEF, supporting child protection and education in Ukraine, Venezuela, Philippines, Yemen. So that's the regions when I'm actually running through. But the UNICEF supports kids all around the globe.
But I trust you're steering clear of the war zone. I would think for your own safety and just for the logistics of how challenging that would be, security. And you're steering clear of Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not running through Ukraine, not even close. I'm running all the time through the ocean coasts or the sea coast. And even when I will be in Arabian Peninsula, I'm fundraising for Yemen, but I'm not running through Yemen.
Yeah.
I'm just running around the Yemen.
Sure.
Because it's a bit too dangerous.
Now you must have some funny stories along the way, more than a couple.
Yeah, for sure. Funny story.
What's one that you could share with us that you thought was amusing?
You know, the one of the most amazing thing which I discovered along the way of my running road, and totally accidentally, and there's two different stories with this. So I was struggling most of my life. I was struggling with anxiety, stress, and overwhelm because of the traumas which I did have in my childhood, and I did struggle a lot with the focus. And when I was running through Asia, I'm originally from Poland, living for the past 21 years in London, in United Kingdom, and we don't have many snakes in there. But when I was running through Asia, the snakes was absolutely everywhere. And a few times I almost stepped on a snake because I noticed it in a last minute, because I was always dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. So I couldn't, so it was kind of the life and death situation for me.
Yeah.
Because many snakes was the venomous snakes. So I started focusing really on what I have ahead of me, what is in front of me, where I'm putting my feet. And at some points I started, and I was all the time struggling, still pushing my limits. But at some point when I was focusing on that, what I have in front of me, I started running crazy distances like 70, 80, 90 kilometers a day, 100 kilometers a day. And it turned out that I was, when I was focusing on that road ahead, I was practicing mindful movement and active meditation, and that was getting me into the state of flow. And when I was getting into the state of flow, all those anxieties, stresses was disappearing. So one was that I discovered this completely accidentally because I was focusing on the snakes. And the second thing is, when I was running through Vietnam, I was struggling financially because I left my job and I was using my savings to run through Asia. And when I was running through Vietnam, the little money, like a dollar or even less than dollars, but on the Vietnamese money, was like all the way next to the road. And when I was running and I was focusing on the steps ahead of me, I was finding a lot of money, and sometimes by the end of the day, I even have enough to pay for the hotel from this money which I found. And when I get to the end of the Vietnam, I ran around the roundabout, and just before me, the funeral came on a car. There was just funeral driving, and it was two guys sitting on a car which was carrying the crest, and they were dropping the money all around. So then I discovered where money.
You had another night for a hotel.
Yeah. So I was still running. It was just end of the Vietnam, and I passed like 3,000 kilometers. 3 months I was running through Vietnam, so this money was actually helping me survive for 3 months.
Let me ask you this: do any people along the way? I know Jay Wind. I've come across him. Do any people along the way say, "Hey, you're coming through the DC area. Why don't you stay here for a night?" Have you had that happen?
No, not in the United States yet. I mean, when I was running through all other countries, it was happening a lot. But
Nobody in the US, nobody at all, huh?
no,
You're
no,
worried
no.
about get they're thinking they might get COVID because you've been all over or what?
I don't know. I'm triple injected, for COVID. So I'm pretty much safe. But
Well, listen, I'll tell you what. We occasionally have a spare room in Arlington, Virginia. So if you find yourself coming through DC, you can look up Dr. Ben
sure,
Pearl
sure.
in
It,
South
it it
Arlington.
didn't happen yet. That's why I actually sent emails because to all the running clubs in United States.
Yeah, I would think that some would pick up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to engage a bit more with runners in United States and
Well,
maybe.
we'll certainly share this with some of the local Arlington running groups, and Jay, of course, is very involved. Jay Wind, and you got to get him moving in the state of flow. He's been suffering some knee injuries and things himself, so maybe he can take some inspiration from what you're doing. Although he's got a couple years on you.
Yeah.
Listen, I wish you well and continued success. How do people follow your journey? Where would they look to?
Well, I'm on all social media and
Okay.
on websites. The website is www.tomasz.drybala.com, and all my social media have actually exactly the same address, Tomasz underscore Drybala. And if you put into Google, there was like 60 articles about my run in the past 3 months. So if you put in a Google, then for sure you can find either running 40,075 kilometers or running 25,000 miles or Tomasz Drybala, and people can easily find me.
And when you complete it, you'll have matched the distance of the equator. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, so how I divided the challenge is roughly the distance which I want to pass throughout the for this particular countries. But eventually I will complete the entire run, the entire challenge when I will run 40,075 kilometers, that's the circumference of the Earth, so nearly 25,000 miles. So I'm planning to complete this in March 2026, but it may get a bit longer, and I'm ready for this.
Well, I wish you continued health and success with your journey. It's very inspirational to listen to this. Maybe in a year or two, we'll catch up. We have your contact now. You can show us some of your running shoes, and you can tell us some of the things you've learned about hopefully trying to avoid overuse injuries.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, till next time, this is Dr. Ben Pearl with Thomas as he makes his way around the world.
Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.